Today we're asking, are you wasting your time? My name's Anna LaGrange and I'm one half of Baba Business, the Birth and Baby Business Academy for birth and baby business owners who want to turn their passion into profit.
You keep knocking out these juicy topics.
We
Where do we
do.
start with this one?
Oh my gosh, what does wasting your time look like? I've definitely wasted a lot of time in my businesses over the years, I have to be honest.
No, we
and
all
there's so many
can.
reasons for that. But I think sometimes we don't realise why we're doing it. And I think one of the biggest reasons for me anyway is when I'm procrastinating, there's something I need to do or a few things that I need to do that are important to my business, but I prefer to do other things that are easier, but probably aren't moving my business forwards in the way that I would want to. So, for example, oh my gosh, how can I give an example now without totally embarrassing myself? I mean, I think probably a really simple one is accounts. I don't enjoy doing accounts for my business, and that is definitely something that I've learned to delegate over the years because it's something that I will avoid as much as I can. Not because I'm scared about it or anything like that. I don't know. I don't know why I do actually. Probably need a bit of therapy on that or something, but just to avoid it. But other examples might be like, say you wanted to run a workshop or a new program or something, and you just feel like it feels scary because you haven't done it before, you've never tested it, you don't know how it's going to go. So instead of just getting it out there and just getting on with it and ripping the band-aid off as it was, you sort of take yourself in easier directions and doing other things. But often those things that are not really what you're there to do in your business, they are a waste of your time because they're not taking your business towards where you really wanted to go.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I have definitely been guilty in the past of sitting on ideas and not acting on them. So kind of like coming up with this brainwave, like, oh, this would be amazing for people, and then shutting it down myself because of maybe imposter syndrome, or just feeling like, oh, what's the point, it's going to fail anyway, or maybe just feeling like, I don't even know where to start. And that's really common in like the early stages of your business or not maybe the early stages, but that point where you're kind of moving from the early stages into the next level, like when you're leveling up and things are starting to get a little bit more technical, a little bit more difficult, you're having to learn new things to kind of keep up with your own business, then that's sometimes when we can just kind of sit on those ideas. And I remember reading a book by Elizabeth Gilbert. Is it Big Magic? Is that what it? Do you remember that book? Yeah, it's such an amazing book. I love that book, and I remember listening to it on Audible, and I just love hearing her voice and the way that she talks about things. But something I really took away from that was how she believes that ideas are like, almost the way she described them is like they're living, breathing things, they might fall into your consciousness at some point, and if you don't act on them, they'll fall into somebody else's and someone will act on them. And she wasn't saying it in a way to be like, quick, you've got to do everything now or someone else is going to do it. But it's if you come across an idea and you think, oh, that's amazing, I'd love to do that, then do act on it, because there are only so many ideas in this world. So whether it is a magical thing that jumps from brain to brain, I don't know, but someone else will come up with it at some point. So and again, I don't want to create that scarcity, but it's just like, how would you feel if someone else did something that you really wanted to do, that you felt really, really passionate about? And you've got to really tune into those feelings versus the feelings of like, I'll just stay safe. I'll just stay here safe and not move into that next stage of my business. And, I won't have to experience any more imposter syndrome or any more feelings of failure. But you might actually feel even worse if you miss out on your opportunity.
Yeah, that's so true. I think I could, say that's true in Baba. It's like when you're doing something different that you've never done before, that perhaps you haven't even seen out there, it's often those ideas, they're the ones that have got legs, they're the ones that are going to go. But you do need a massive dose of courage to be able to go forward with those ideas. But at the same time, it's those ideas, it's those ones that are out the box that are unusual, that are the ones that are likely to do well. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll be, a bit of a flop, and that's fine because that's all part of the process. But you're never going to know unless you actually try it. So it's about just going for it and giving something a go. And I think so many times we get caught up with the what ifs. What if nobody likes it? What if nobody books? What if I waste money on this? It doesn't go anywhere. But the thing is, when you're running a business, you have to take those kinds of risks. You just do. And I think I've mentioned this in a podcast before, and this was something that a coach told me that she heard from Richard Branson, and that was that, he said the biggest takeaway she had from her talk with him was, he has tried hundreds and hundreds of ideas that just haven't worked out. And it just happens that he's got a group of ones that did, but he literally just, that failed, next thing, that failed, next thing, that failed. And that's why he is, as big as he is. And that really resonated with me as well, because I just thought, it's so true. We have to be all right with failing. We have to, because otherwise you are going to keep wasting your time on things that you think are the right things to do, but actually in reality, they're probably just the comfortable things. And that isn't what's going to bring your business onto where you want it to go. As scary as that sounds.
Everybody fails. Everybody has flops. Like, we've put like courses out there and like not got any bookings or got limited bookings, and you just move on to the next one. It's not, you don't have to declare like, oh, this was a failure, this didn't work. Nobody has to know. But then we also we need to start normalizing failure as well. And I was actually listening to a business coach this morning who we both admire, and she talks about how like she's uber successful, like she's bringing in, turning over millions of pounds every year in her business. And she talked about how one of the latest offerings that she put out there actually hadn't done as well as it usually does. And she compared the numbers. She told people how well it had done previously and how well it had done this time. And the difference was absolutely stark, like night and day, So I just love that sense of honesty that people are, she's not afraid to show up and go like, I make millions and I'm really successful, but sometimes I put things out there and they just go, we have to be okay with that. And although it does sound scary and a bit daunting, it is okay. And another thing I wanted to mention, and maybe you can relate to this as well, is I find a lot of people are waiting for the right time, which I think is another form of wasting time.
So it really is, because there's no right time. The right time is now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there could be bona fide reasons as to why somebody couldn't do something, like a bereavement, a loss, maybe like giving birth or having just had a baby might impact their ability to move forward in their business for a short term, etc. So there might be different things, massive life-changing things that could put things on hold. But some people do things anyway, despite having those big life-changing circumstances in their lives. And you've got to get to a point where you sort of go like, what is the right time? Is the right time? What if the right time never comes? And I've kind of, I've missed my chance. I often think about my mom. So my mom loves yoga. She's done yoga. She's in her 70s now, late 70s. I won't tell you exactly how old she is. And she has done yoga just probably about 50 years now. Every single day she does a bit of a yoga practice. And she's always wanted to train and be a yoga teacher because it's her absolute passion. She loves it. And she never did it. And the reason why she never did it is because she was waiting for the right time. And when you've got 4 kids and, you've got, like in her sort of day, she did have a job, but she had a house to run. She had lots of things to do, people to look after, parents to care for then as she got older. There'll always be something that you can say is not going to be the right time, so I just think that is a real time waster for us as well.
I agree. I think that this whole thing, like no regrets, it's like you've just got to go for it, and if it doesn't work out and it's not the right thing, then it doesn't, that's nothing about you. It's just about it wasn't the right time and it wasn't the right thing. But often when I hear people's business ideas and they've got something really exciting, I just know that you get a sense if it's going to be something that's going to do well or not. But so often then they sort of get in their own way, and or maybe put time into aspects of that that aren't important, like for example updating a website, like making sure that's all right, or can't think of many other examples, but instead of getting out there and just sharing it and making sales and talking to people about it, it's like, well, it's not ready yet. Well, it's not ready yet, you know, I can't talk about it until it's ready. Well, actually, maybe you could talk about it. Maybe you could actually sell places on this thing and create it as you go. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You know, there's so many different ways, not saying that's the only way to do it, but we hold ourselves back in so many ways, telling ourselves not ready. And the truth of it is that we are wasting time because we're too scared to put it out there because we're worried about how people are going to react to it. And then often you'll do sort of like a little tiny little mention of it, and then of course everything comes true. I knew no one was going to be interested in that. knew it wouldn't. And then, but funnily enough, because you only quietly whispered it and mentioned it, like nobody actually saw that. So, but then of course it's like, you know, all of that, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh well, there we go, knew that wasn't going to work. So all the things that we tell ourselves, and then you might move on to the next thing and you have this amazing product or amazing service, and like people don't actually know about it because you didn't really give it the time and effort it deserved. And I see that again and again and again in the birth and baby world, and I've done it myself, so I totally get it.
I've done it as well. This is definitely not us finger pointing. Like, we have done this in our business, but we've obviously done it less often than more often, because we've managed to, you know, scale our businesses and kind of like level ourselves up as well.
Yeah, we've grown and we've learned from those experiences, and I suppose that kind of leads into one of the other things I want to mention is we can often hold back with investing in ourselves, in our business, and getting that help and support so that we kind of can see. I mean, so for example, one of the things I've learned to really go for it is by having a coach in the past. Who was able to kind of reflect all that stuff back to me, a bit like we're perhaps reflecting back to people now, and to be able to say, well, hang on a minute, that was a really good idea. Why haven't you really gone for it? Or why are you wasting your time on other things? And so I know that people will often sort of hold back in asking for support or looking for investing in their business in that way because they don't feel they're making the money to justify it. But I would argue that that mindset stuff and having that support and having somebody who can kind of basically like call out your bullshit basically is such a good investment in your business, and you can just see it as an investment, as part of one of the expenses of your business is getting that sort of support, so that, you know, you're not getting when you do get in your own way, you've got somebody to say, take a step back, have a look at what you're actually doing, and help you dig down to that stuff. So that can be also a way that we sort of waste our time in business going round and round in circles of the wrong thing by not making the decision to get the support that would help us to move on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've had some profound experiences, and so have you, when I have invested in coaching. And like, one thing that springs to mind is actually one of the first mastermind coaching experiences that I did. After the first call, I remember it so vividly. I got off the call and I turned to my husband and I said, I want to hand my notice in to my job. So at that point, I think I was working 3 days a week, and I was running my hypnobirthing business. I was trying to juggle the 2 and the 3 kids and all of that sort of stuff. And I was earning decent money I was actually probably earning more money with the hypnobirthing than I was with the day job. But the thing is that the combined income was really nice. Like, it was good for us. And I just remember saying to him, like, I want to hand my notice in to my job. And I was so surprised at his response, because he instantly went, yeah, I think you should. Okay. And I was like, what? Hang on. I thought you were going to talk me down. Yeah, I was fully expected to be talked down from that. And I did. I handed my notice in. And then I went on the following week, I went on to the next mastermind call. And it was like, oh, how's everything been? Like, what's happened? And I was like, oh, I've got some news. I've handed my notice in. And they were like, what? Oh my God. So it was nothing to do with what the coach had. She hadn't told me to do that. She hadn't steered me in that direction. It was just the conversations that we'd had, the the questions that she'd asked, the exercises that we'd done on that session had just exploded this light bulb in my mind that was like, what am I waiting for? Like, what moment is going to be the right moment to do this? And we actually had one of our members, one of the BABA members, hand in her notice this week for her job to focus on her birth and baby business full time. And that really brought me back to that memory. I was like, wow, like it's such an empowering moment when you decide that the time is right.
It is. And those moments, I've had a few of them in my life as well, and they can feel really unsafe. Like in your body, you can feel sick. I think I've even heard someone say, oh, they actually were sick after they invested a big amount of money in something, but it was like a good thing. It was like but also like it can feel tight. It can feel scary because you're almost like feel like you're stepping off into the unknown and you're taking this risk, and it's going to feel like that. But in my opinion, all the great things that happen in business, they often do. They start with decisions like that, where you just decide, what the heck, I'm just going to go for this and give this a go. And, and then the magic happens. So I think, it's really important to understand that those feelings aren't necessarily a sign that you're making a mistake or that you're doing the wrong thing. Like, you almost got to expect that level of discomfort when we're going to level up or grow our business or do something new. It's completely normal that your mind and your body is going to take you to that place of trying to keep you safe and go, oh, that's quite scary, and give you all these physical symptoms, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go ahead with it.
Yeah, definitely. It's exciting to move and change with your business and to level up and scale your business, which brings us on to wonderfully to telling everyone about our brand new offering that we have at BABA. So we have just launched a mastermind for birth and baby business owners, and we would love you to take a look at in the show notes at all the information there. It's a great opportunity to work closely with people who are at a similar stage in business to you, who, you've got a common goal or a common theme where you're all moving forward in your business because you're ready to level up or scale your business in some way, shape or form. And having that kind of peer support is amazing. And then being facilitated by us, and the way that we're structuring the mastermind in terms of, we've got specific things that we know that they need to focus on and master in order to really move forward. So I'm just so excited about this. I can't wait for it to
I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to the membership. Is great because we're able to work with a certain way with people, but there's only so much we can give inside a membership. And the idea with the mastermind is we can give people and their businesses a little bit more bespoke support from us, but also in a container, in an experience with other people, so that there's sort of that momentum and drive. Where I've been in a few masterminds before as well, and they're really exciting places to be. We're going to be helping people with their strategy. So with their, making sure they've got the right strategy for their birth and baby business. We're going to be helping people with getting leads and getting, growing their audience, all that stuff that really helps you to make sales. It's such an important part. We're going to be doing a bit of coaching, and we're going to be helping with mindset, all the stuff that we do, but in a bit more of an intensive environment that's really going to kind of launch you into a new phase in your business. So I'm very excited. We're starting next month. We've just got a small group of people. So if it's something that interests you, then do check the link out in the bio. We ask you to fill a little application form first. We've got to make sure it's a good fit for you, and it's the right time for you to do something like this. But we would absolutely love to have you on board if that sounds exciting to you.
Yeah, definitely. And then before we go, just another note to say, please like or subscribe, give us a follow, whether you're listening to this on podcast or watching us on YouTube. Drop us a review if you can. That would be great. We really appreciate your support.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.